Welcome back to Podiatry Marketing. I'm your host, Jim McDonald. Joined as always with my trusty co-host, Tyson Franklin. Tyson, how's it going today?
Good morning, Big Jim. It is absolutely fantastic. I am on top of the world at the moment. I feel so good. I don't know if it's the weather at the moment. Like winter in Cairns is amazing. It's just one of those times where we have no humidity, unless you're from down south, and they still think we do, but we know we don't. And I know it's just a great time of the year. I'm full of energy.
That's awesome. I feel very similar, but on the the complete opposite side of the world during summertime, getting out to soccer games for my kids, spending time with them, being outside, just getting out of the house after a long Canadian winter. And like they say here at least here in Quebec, we have two seasons. We have winter and construction. So I'm enjoying the construction season.
I think we've mentioned that once before. You mentioned that the two seasons, and I said up here we either have hot or hotter. And with one of the hots, it's usually wet. But during winter, normally we don't get a lot of rain. But I tell you, the first 6 months of this year, just everyone was wondering if it was ever going to let up. And as I say that, it starts raining.
There we go.
There you go. So, but it's not going to ruin my mood. So let's get on to today's topic, which is be aware of potential copyright infringements. And in brackets, I should put Tyson. Should emphasize that part.
So this is an autobiographical situation we're going to dive into today, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. The reason it's top of mind is I received a YouTube copyright infringement notice. I will point out it's not the first time, but this first time I paid attention to it. And in the past, I had received them, sort of didn't really make any sense. But this time I decided I'm going to actually read it and see what it was all about. And this is what I actually said. I've got it written down here. Copyrighted content has been detected in your video, and the video at the time was 326 Embrace Glimmers, Finding Joy in Everyday Moments with Tyson Franklin. And it said the visibility of your video is not impacted, so they're still going to go ahead as normal, but you can no longer monetize it. And I finally got my YouTube channel to that point where I can monetize my videos. The copyright owner is now either monetizing it or receiving analytics about it. Okay. They said this is not a copyright strike and does not affect your channel. So I didn't do something that was just outright, you're doing some really silly stuff here. I had accidentally breached the copyright rules, and I was totally unaware. And I think if I'm totally unaware, and I'm usually quite aware of these things, that's why I thought this topic was really, really important to sort of touch on.
Yeah. So what options did you have as far as, they kind of give you this infringement notice? Like what are your next steps?
Yeah, and I will point out, YouTube are fantastic about all this. So they actually said, what can you do? First thing, leave the video as is, and you are fine with the restrictions on the video. So all that means is I can't monetize it. They're going to show it as normal, but I don't necessarily get any analytics from it. It said the next thing you can do is edit out the segment by trimming, muting, or replacing the copyrighted content with the YouTube video editor. Now, I didn't realize there was a YouTube video editor. I've never used it before. So that is something I will look at. And it says you can always revert back to the other changes. So if you do the editing and you go, it's buggered up the video, then you can change it back. It says submit a dispute to the content owner if you have the rights to that content, or just go and edit and just re-upload the thing. So, of course, Tyson being Tyson, let's dispute this.
When in doubt, argue.
When in doubt, argue. Stand your ground, dig your heels in, and argue the point and say, no, I'm going to argue this, I'm going to dispute it. Because the way that they sent it to me didn't make any sense. I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? I couldn't see what I did wrong. The episode that I had uploaded, then I went through and found out I had about 45 copyright disputes from the same place.
Okay.
I'm thinking, what have I done wrong? Each one was a podcast episode where I'd uploaded just the audio. So normally when I do a podcast, I'll have you on as a guest. We will do the recording. I will then upload that video, but I don't put any music or any intro music or any outro music. It's just the interview. When I do the podcast, I put intro music over the beginning, so it just sounds nice, just like this podcast.
For sure.
Then I do the music at the end, an outro music. So there, and sometimes I've uploaded those episodes just as an audio version. Well, it's an audio version of the podcast, but it goes onto YouTube. And because YouTube has become a popular place for podcasts. And so anyway, I'm thinking, but what have I done wrong? See, because I had paid to use that intro music for Podiatry Legends podcast from a legit website called Audio Jungle. And when you go into Audio Jungle and you listen to some of the music there, it just keeps repeating, Audio Jungle, Audio Jungle. So you can't, you have to pay for it if you like that song. So I found something that I liked, which was the introduction music, and I used it. Now, of course, Tyson being Tyson, I didn't read the fine print, didn't read the terms and conditions.
That'll get you. That'll get you, huh?
It'll get you every time. Who reads the terms and conditions? Really?
I mean, that's the thing. You like scroll down to the bottom and you click next or finish or sign. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're just like, yeah, it's going to be, hey, you've just paid for the music, so I can use it wherever I want. And what I'd actually paid for was what they called a single-use license, which meant it cannot be used on multiple platforms. I could use it for my podcast. That was fine. I can use it on multiple episodes of my podcast, but I couldn't use it on YouTube, Facebook, on my website. So a single-use license means you can only use it on the one platform. You can't use it on multiple platforms, which is where I got myself in trouble. Not to the point where I was taking their music, putting words to it, creating my own song, and becoming a Spotify superstar. Yeah, that wasn't happening. But it was enough for them just to go, hey, you haven't paid to use it on these different platforms. So I was totally unaware. So the moderator of the music, of course, remember, I put my dispute in, going, no. YouTube got back to me and said, no, they reckon you're wrong and therefore you're in breach. Okay, no problem. So I go and hunt down the moderator, who owned the music. I sent a polite email. Hey, I've heard that I've done the wrong thing. Could you please tell me what I've done wrong? They were not understanding. Their emails were not friendly. They were quite direct and they were extremely angry. And so I wrote back to them another email. I said, look, I said, I've done the wrong thing. I get it, but you could please clarify what did I do wrong? Plus I was being lazy. I didn't want to go back and read the terms and conditions. I thought they would just point it out. Their response, ignorance is no excuse. That's all they said is you're in breach. Ignorance is no excuse. Read the bloody terms and conditions is what they told me. So I did. I did read the terms and conditions and And they also told me I've been doing it for years and now they have the technology to track these infringements. So I've been doing this for 5 years. Off and on.
Repeat offender.
So they said they found out, they'd heard about it or they were aware of it, but they couldn't track down who I was. But now they've got the technology to actually do that. And so I think it was about 25 times, not 40 something times that I had breached it. But purely, once again, it was just pure, total ignorance. I was unaware that I had done it. So they're not taking any further action, which is good. But they are now because they're the copyright owner, any ads that come on to any of those videos, they are going to receive any monetary gain from it, which is fair enough. I did the wrong thing. I don't have a problem with that. But I am going to go back into each of those videos and any of them that are sort of, didn't get many views, I'll just delete them. And those that have had a lot of views, I will go in there, re-edit, trim it, and just try and do the right thing. That's pretty much what I'm telling everyone. Do the right thing. Read the terms and conditions.
No, that makes sense. I think whenever I was looking for music for our intro and outro, one of the kind of free copyright, you can multiple use channels you can use is actually through YouTube itself. And I think I found copyright multiple use options either through YouTube, searching YouTube, or sometimes you can find that YouTube has a small library itself of some sounds and some songs you can use. But yeah, you definitely you don't necessarily read the fine print, but you need to make sure that it's multi-use capable.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get onto the whole multi-use because now I've found some music. I found a place where I can get stuff and sound effects and all that are multi-platform. But what you're also going to be aware of, multi-platform doesn't mean multiple channels on those platforms, which I was unaware of as well. But I'll get to that. So anyway, I'll go back a step. It wasn't the first time I'd made this really simple mistake about background music. Once I had the Disney Corporation come down on me like a ton of bricks. Because you know that song, dun 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 dun. What is it? Is it the Charge Your Life Brigade? Is it? Or
Yeah, like
yeah. Anyway, that
we're
song
gonna get a copyright on this one by
we
humming.
might because we've hummed it. We'll see what happens. But that was as simple as what happened. I was showing a video and that was playing in the background of a video that I was using when I was doing the reboot program. I uploaded it I actually uploaded this one to Facebook, I think it was. Facebook got me and just said, and what was funny is I had uploaded that video into a private group on Facebook.
Right.
And Disney for some reason, they said, Disney owns that music. You got to take it down. So I did. I took it down, took out the part and re-uploaded it. The second time that had happened previously, I was aware of it, was when I did a video reviewing my USA trip in 2022. Now, I only just found out that I was in breach of copyright a couple of days ago. Totally unaware. And what it was, I went through it and I go, where did I go wrong with this? I didn't have any intro music. I just shot a video explaining my trip. I did use it on the podcast, but I did a separate video. And then I found out when we were actually at the baseball and they sing that song at the seventh innings, we're all at the ball game or whatever it is. The music's playing in the background. Everyone's singing.
The seventh inning stretch, take me out to the ball game.
Yeah, take me out to the ball game.
We're gonna get struck again.
So when that played, obviously that was what I did wrong. They played two songs and I did a little video of us, a group of us all singing together, singing this song. Good part is one of the guys who's in the video with us has now become a really good country singer in Nashville. So I've got to hold on to that video. I'm not deleting that one because if he becomes famous one day, here's him and I singing together at the baseball. One of us is doing it really well. And one had too much to drink. I'm going to say it's him. People will see the video one day. If you go and watch the video, USA Trip 2022. Anyway, I reckon I got off quite easy. But that may not always be the case with people. So I think I've got a few more things I want to say. Have you got any comments on this so far, Jim? Other than you keep laughing at me.
No, I mean, this is stuff that you just, you run into, right? You think you're just singing a song. It's like, whether it's Happy Birthday or Take Me Out to the Ball Game. If you're using background music, I know that I've had videos in the past too, where it was racking up tons of videos. And before I was making podiatry marketing videos, if it had any kind of, copyrighted material in there, even if it's a song you like, there would be, a previous podcast I did had, kind of a version of a song that it was, I couldn't use it because of this issue. And if you're, making videos and you're using any kind of background music on those videos to make it more interesting, you got to be really, really careful. Otherwise, maybe they're not going to be quite as nice as they have been to you. Obviously the emails weren't nice they were sent to you, but you didn't receive a lawsuit or a summons to appear in court, right? So you definitely want to try to avoid that kind of stuff.
Oh, and I've heard some really nasty things happening to people where they've been in a huge breach, and what they've done, they've actually made a lot of money from it. And because they've made a lot of money from it, the other person's gone, well, hang on, you've made money from this. Mm-hmm. I am going to not only take that money from you, but I'm also going to punish you for being silly. Now, they must have known, looking at my channel, that I did not make a huge amount of money from it. So they've let me off that way. But I'm now using a group called epidemicsound.com. Cost me about $120 US to get it. I actually read their license agreement and terms and conditions before I chose them.
Congratulations.
Their music and sound effects can be used on multiple platforms, and multiple platforms are like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even your website. So your website is classed as a platform, but only one channel per platform with the current license that I have. So if I want to, and what they mean by that is you might have a YouTube channel, but you might have 2 or 3 YouTube channels. So I can use YouTube as a platform, but if I have 3 different channels, you have Tyson E. Franklin, but then I might have another one, titled, what's in the backseat of your car?
Or
If all of
trying to
yeah,
trying to let me use that account as well. We can't use it with Podiatry
yeah,
Marketing's channel.
yeah. So we're both. It's the platform is YouTube, but we have different channels, and you might have a Facebook page. You might have multiple pages, so I can upload that to one. But if I want to upload it to multiple, they class that as I need to have a different type of license. So I'm going to use it with the current license that I have. And if I find that I want to use it in other places outside of those, I'm going to pay the extra. I think that's a smart thing to do.
I agree.
I'm glad. I'm waiting for you to go, no, take the risk, Tyson. So, and the other thing I've just come across recently is YouTube has what they call a copyright match tool, which I have now signed up for. And it's even my own videos, that all the stuff that I upload, it said that they now have the technology to go through everything, and they can look at my videos and see if any of my videos have been used on any other platform. So as soon as I registered for it, 4 of my videos have been used in other places.
Really
So I was
interesting.
like, And I didn't worry about it because all 4, I knew who they were and I knew why they had used it. 3 out of the 4 had actually asked me, so it wasn't a problem, but 1 didn't. And I sort of went, and when I looked, I said, no, they've got 300 subscribers. They're not making any money from it. So I don't care. Didn't really matter. But the tools are there. And this is what people have, why I want to warn people on this. It's the same rules apply with photos, videos, everything. And with AI and other software recognition programs that are being used, Google have got your program. You take a photo of anything, just put it in, and it'll tell you what it is, where you get it from, everything you want to know about that. So with all these programs being used, it's not if, it's when you'll be caught if you're using copyrighted images. And I know so many podiatry websites that have got stock images on there. And if anything like me, when I was first doing my website, I go, there's an image I just saw on somebody else's website, screenshot, use it. Because it just seemed the easiest thing to do. I didn't realize I was in breach. And I've heard about a podiatrist in America who got sued for 20 grand for taking a photograph from another podiatrist website that they saw a photo and went, oh, that looks good. I'm going to use that. They're in a different state. They don't even know who I am. Used it. And that podiatrist got really annoyed. And instead of just saying, hey, can you take it down, which is what I would do, they obviously didn't like the person and bang. And I heard they got 20 grand they had to pay in damages.
That's crazy. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think it's really important that people have their own photo shoots, have pictures of them doing things in their clinic is another great example of why it's worth investing in a photo shoot of you treating your ideal patients and kind of creating that stock images of you and your clinic actually doing those tasks and those actions. So
Yeah, another thing you remember too, and could be different rules in different countries, whoever takes the photo owns the photo. So if I grab your camera, Jim, and I take a photograph of you, I actually own that photo. It's the person who takes the photo owns the photo. So if you have a photographer come in, does a whole pile of photos, does a photo shoot, you need them to sign off to say that you now own the rights to all those photos. So it's important to remember. It's probably no different if you're going to a printer. They design a brochure for you, business card. You need to get them to sign it over to you so that you own the artwork. Even though you paid for the artwork, doesn't mean you own the artwork. So there's little technicalities like that that you may not get in trouble with. But I have heard of printers suing for damages to other businesses where they've done all the artwork for them. They did the original print for them, and then they've taken that information and got another printer to use it. And they've gone, hang on. And the jobs that they were doing were big jobs. And they go, hang on, well, we did all the artwork for it. They don't own it. So, and I think Canva, if you go, that's why websites like Canva, and I have the pro version, so I get access to better images. So it's all those sort of things. Like going back to the beginning, read the terms and conditions, but be aware that laws may be different in different countries. But I think the overall purpose of the laws is going to be very similar, like exclusive rights of reproduction, adaptation, publication, performance, and how you display anything. You got to make sure that you are allowed to actually do that.
Yeah, it's making me kind of wonder. I will sometimes use B-roll from Descript, making like a short, YouTube video, or they have these kind of like AI B-roll for videos that you can put in now. And I'm kind of curious with some of the tools that I use for these, video editing softwares, if what the actual terms and conditions are now. I'm not sure if I'm going to get off this podcast and go read those, what seems like hundreds of pages of boring text, but maybe I should look into maybe using ChatGPT to ask it, what kind of license do I have with Descript stock images or stock video or Canva, for example.
Yeah, well, it's like any law that the person that I was in breach of, who sent me the email back and just said, ignorance is no excuse. And that just applies with all laws. You can't say, oh, I was totally unaware of that. Doesn't really matter. And in Australia, generally, and this is what I'm saying, you check your own countries, copyright lasts for 70 years for works after the death of an author. So like my book, It's No Secret, There's Money in Podiatry. You got to wait till I die, guys, before you can just go and copy anything from that. 70 years after my death. So then I won't know anything about it. What they say, 70 years from a publication for sound recordings and film after being made public. 50 years for television and radio broadcasts after being broadcast. And that's probably why sometimes you'll see someone talk about something and then they'll put an image up of Charlie Chaplin doing something. Then, he's dead. But that was already broadcast. It's been more than 50 years, so they can now actually use that. And I got two last things I want to say is, what was this part? Okay. So two last things I just want to say, that not all reuse is copyright infringement. And I just got this off of YouTube, and I went and checked this on Google as well. And it said a channel that transforms original content for commentary, criticism, or parody may be protected under a doctrine of fair use. So you need to go and work out in your country, what is fair use? I got a friend, Joe Pardo, and he watches a lot of the Shark Tank shows, and he'll play a little bit, stops it, and then he gives his comments over the top. And he's told me in the past that he's able to get away with that because it's a certain time, it's a certain amount that he can play that he must stop and then comment. And as long as he does that, he gets away with it. But my final comment, if in any doubts, go and talk to an expert. Talk to someone who knows this inside out. If you're doing something, you think, am I in breach? Check it out yourself first. If in doubt, go and talk to an expert. Don't just listen to myself and Jim.
Yeah, we are definitely not, when it comes to copyright law,
no.
we are not the experts. We know a lot about podiatry and foot and ankle marketing, but yeah, if you do have questions when it comes to copyright, definitely get in touch with an expert who is not us.
Yeah, so I just thought this topic was really important, and I hope everyone listens to this. I hope I haven't frightened anybody that they're sitting there now going, oh my God, I'm about to lose my house. But it's just be aware, read the terms and conditions, know what your rights are, protect your own information. And like if you're reading another podiatrist website and you go, oh, that's really good, I'm just going to copy that and just change these 3 words and now it's mine. No, it's not. It's still theirs. So just be aware of that. And you might find if you've done the wrong thing or taken something from another podiatrist, they might be nice about it. Like I've seen websites where they copied word for word my website and I didn't give them permission to do it. And I just went, I couldn't be bothered arguing, just went, oh, whatever. And I just sent me email saying, can you just change it? At least change it a little bit, put some effort in. But I've got other people, other podiatrists know, because I used to write a lot of blog articles that I just give them copies and go, here, just use this if you want. And I, in an email, give them permission to use it, and I don't have a problem with that.
Sure.
So, okay, Jim, I look forward to talking to you next week.
Sounds great, Tyson. Bye now.
Okay, see ya. Bye.